Hi everyone, this is Renee with Nostalgic Needlework. I wanted to do a little something different on this video. I had a subscriber tell me that she would like to see a few more of the pictures in the book that I had shared earlier that Jenny, my friend, had given me. So I thought it might be fun to just go through some patterns that I've collected over the years. And I love seeing other people's collections, and I love seeing how cross stitch has progressed. And some of these things may only be of interest to me, but I just wanted to make a little video and show it, and I hope you enjoy it. I don't have any of my actual cross stitch work included in this video, but I will in the next one. Let's see. The first, it's more of a leaflet, I guess, that I'm going to show you is of Christmas ornaments. And once again, my sweet friend Jenny, who's now a subscriber, hi Jenny, gave this to me. She went through some of her collection and sent some things over to me. And this book, or leaflet, is from 1980. I'm going to try to get it close so you can see the little patterns. Jenny shared with me that when she first started cross stitching, I guess it was the 80s or the late 70s, I'm not sure, and she said that there were so few choices back then compared even to when I started cross stitching in the early 80s. So I guess that we all don't realize how thankful we should be for all the opportunities we have to get the pretty patterns that are available today, but there is great value in the old patterns, if nothing else for the historical part. I can't show you any pictures because there's not, other than these pictures, there's nothing except patterns in here, and I don't want to break any copyright. This just says Christmas Doodads by Vicki, and I don't think there was any kind of, I don't know who put this book out. It just says Design for Cross Stitch. I take that back. At the bottom it says Sabra Publishing Company. I'm not familiar with that, but just to keep everything accurate. I love these little patterns. Something I'm going to share in another video also. I have a Cricut machine for those of you that do any kind of paper crafts. It's really a machine that you can run dies through and cut them out. And there is a cross stitch die that I was able to purchase that will allow you to cross stitch on cards. And when I saw it done, it was by someone on YouTube who does make cards. So she's not really a cross stitcher, but she is a crafter. So she shared that with all of us that follow her, and I wanted to try that on my own. So if I learn how to do it, I'm going to share it on a video. And the die is not real big, so it won't allow for very much of a design, but some of these might be small enough for that. So I'm going to give it a whirl and see. The next thing, some of these I have kind of in a chronological order. The next thing I wanted to share was a pattern I have that is a Paula Vaughn. It was originally a painting that was transferred by Leisure Arts into a cross stitch, and it's called Yesterday's Dreams. This pattern was published in 1986, and I still want to stitch it sometime. I really love hope chests, and I love spinning wheels, so that is something that I want to do eventually. The next leaflet that I want to share was published in 1997, and it again is a Paula Vaughn, and it is, let me see, Perfect Patterns, and I absolutely love this scene. It is so serene, reminds me of my grandmother's. I could go sit on that porch all day and be perfectly happy cross-stitching. I love the needlework that it shows. I can just imagine some lady crocheting those blankets or piecing quilts. So that is definitely a pattern that I want to do, probably sooner than later. And those are my colors, so I really love the colors. The next little leaflet I purchased when my oldest two boys were really little. They were probably 1 and 3. I only paid $2.50 for this at Michael's, so that kind of gives you an idea. I have an affinity for Old World Santas, and this was from 1989. My son Austin was born in 1987, so they might have been 2 and 4, I guess. I've never done this because I couldn't decide if I wanted to do them all as one piece that is displayed there, if I wanted to do pillows, if I wanted to do ornaments, and I still don't know the answer to that question, but I do want to stitch those, not this year, but perhaps next year, because I do love those Old World Santas. Next, I want to show you a magazine from 2000, and this was one of my most favorite magazines that came out during that time. I have several of them, and I'll be showing you those along, but this one has really been through the ringer. It looks like something got spilled on it and it's been all wrinkled up, but it has some beautiful patterns and they're not harmed, so I am holding on to this. Most of the things in this magazine, most of the patterns have references to scripture, and you all know how dear that is to my heart. So the name of the magazine was Cross Country Stitching. And here's the front cover. Gives a great example of what was popular at the time. I tape these videos on my MacBook Pro, and for some reason the fan starts running sometimes, and I've noticed it's distracting. So I'm going to stop right here, let the computer cool off, and I'll be right back. One of the many things that I loved about this magazine was that included with the patterns you could find resources. You could actually order things to finish the patterns, frames, plates, all kind of things from the magazine. It had the addresses and that kind of thing, and it also, in the back, they always put a list of, it said our favorite shops. So in a time that we didn't have the internet so available, that really was a wonderful thing. This is one pattern that I really love. I love sheep. Scripture from 1 Corinthians. I'm not going to show you the whole magazine. I don't want to bore you, but here is another. And if you wonder what we were stitching in 2000 and the late 90s, this is a great representation of that. I think these are very neat. They were all kinds of plates. Well, I say plates. They were really round frames, but they always reminded me of a plate, I guess, because of the shape. Different words at the top, and one for each different year. I thought those were very pretty. I would still love to do those sometime. Let's see. I've always been drawn to this, and I don't know why. I love the scripture, Psalm 27:14. I love the little charms, and I just think that's a really pretty little cross stitch pattern. Here are just some simple containers holding flowers. I hope I'm doing okay showing you all this. It's hard to tell sometimes. I don't want to be peeking around the last one I'll show you is here, and it's Galatians 6:10. Another neat thing about this next pattern is another Paul Yvonne, and I think when you see the pictures, I won't even need to give an explanation. Bedtime prayers. As a mama, this pattern was just one that I had to have. There's the little boy, and here's the little girl. Just so sweet. This next pattern is also a Paul Yvonne. It's something that I'm going to stitch, and if my daughter Jessica wants it when she's married, I'll give it to her. If not, I'll keep it for myself, because these are my colors again. I think it's so pretty, with the man and lady standing in the background with the wedding dress. I just really like this one a lot. I thought it would go well with Through a Father's Eyes and Through a Mother's Eyes. My little girl was a ballerina. She danced from the time she was 5 until she graduated high school, and in fact she still works at the dance studio. She has a heart for children, and I found this pattern. Actually, it's a kit by Design Works, and I purchased it, and I want to make it for her at some point. It just reminded me of the first time she got her little point shoes. She was so excited that day. All the girls were, and so were their mamas. This next pattern, I don't think I'll have to explain it either. I found it at a place called the Stitch Store, and I don't remember where that was. There used to be a cross-stitch store down near Gwinnett Place Mall for all you Georgia stitchers. It's not there any longer, but that may be where I bought this, and it is called My Son. And in case you couldn't read, it says, "When the day is over and I stand before God, and he asks what good I've done, I believe he will understand and smile when I tell him I have a son. I may have to change that to 3 sons. I might take that much liberty with it. And once again, that is just the pattern, it's not a kit. This next book was exciting to me when I found it. It's a Stony Creek book, and it is everything music. So I don't know exactly why I haven't stitched these before. I just haven't ever started any of them. The front cover is Life is a Song. And there's not one single thing in here that I don't want to stitch. I believe probably this is a good representation of what the patterns are. Once again, let me know if I'm doing a horrible job of showing you these, and I'll try to do better. You probably hear my Bailey in the background. She hears my daddy cutting grass, and she thinks she wants to be out there too. She thinks he's her papa just like he is the boys and Jessica's papa. I just love this. My phone again, I'm sorry. This little book was from Jeanette Cruz Designs. And for any of you who have lived in Georgia, as long as I have, there used to be Jeanette Cruz Designs, and she was based out of Lilburn, Georgia. And then she moved to, let's see, what is this? Townsend, Georgia. I'm ashamed to say I don't know if Miss Cruz is still alive or not, but I only went in her shop a couple times because my 2 oldest boys were little, and Lilburn is a good ways from my house, and I didn't get down that way very often, so I unfortunately did not shop there as often, but I always admired her, and I thought it was so neat that a designer lived that close to me. She did not design these particular patterns, but they're called Everyday Angels, and I want to stitch these and hang them all in my laundry room. I think that would be a really cute idea. Each one depicts the day and the chore. I'm not even gonna say that I stick to these chores. Maybe one a week instead of one each day of the week, but it's a great idea. If I could stick to it, I'd rather be sitting cross-stitching. So I really love that one. And for my subscriber who asked, this is that book, Let Us Pray, that I told you my sweet friend Jenny gave me. And she has asked to see some more of the patterns. I showed you Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane the last time. And I'm just going to real quickly thumb through the book and show all the different pictures of the patterns that are included here. And I actually have another copy of this book that I found, and whoever you are, I'm so sorry I don't remember your name. If you will comment and tell me that you are the one that requested that I go through this book, I'll send you the copy that I have. I don't want to send this one because this one is the one Jenny gave me, but I will send you the other copy. There's a little one for the bees, all the bee fans. My mama said this picture, or a picture similar to this, hung in my grandmother's house when she was a little girl. And so I want to stitch that one day. I like all of these. There's not a one I don't like. This is a beautiful from 1 Corinthians scripture that's used at a lot of wedding ceremonies. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not boastful. And then here's a pretty little bride that can be stitched. There's so many things you could do with that. Here is a wedding announcement. And then a pattern for a father and a mother. Here is a certificate of baptism. Jenny's daughter is expecting her first baby, and I would love to do that for her. I think Jenny's going to stitch something for her, so I don't want to invade in that, but if I can, once I know what she's stitching, I'll definitely decide if that's the one for her. She was like my little girl. She always helped me with my boys. This is the little prayer that I said with my kids every night. Except I ended it with, keep me safe all through the night and wake me with the morning light. I had grown up saying, if I should die before I wake, I pray thee, Lord, my soul to take. And I was afraid that would scare them, not because of the Lord taking them, but because of if I should die before I wake. So I changed it just a little bit. This is a sweet little girl in the garden. This is a beautiful prayer. I don't know if you can read it or not. It's very special. I'll read it quickly. I ask God for strength that I might achieve. I was weak that I might learn humbly to obey. I ask for help that I might do greater things. I was given infirmity that I might do better things. I was given poverty that I might be wise. I ask for power that I might have the praise of men. I was given weakness that I might feel the need of God. I ask for all things that I might enjoy life. I was given life that I might enjoy all things. I got nothing that I asked for, but everything I hoped for. Despite myself, how many times have I thought that? My prayers were answered. I, among all men, am richly blessed. Amen. Here's one for the Noah's Ark fans. I love Noah's Ark too. One of my friends had a little boy named Andy, and I went to visit her one time, and his little bathroom was done, and it said Andy's Ark. I thought that was the cutest thing. I love this one. I think that would be so pretty in the dining room. I guess because that's my colors of decorating in my dining room. Here are these two. Like I said, there's not a one I don't like, so I don't mean to be picking favorites. There's another one. Sometimes I like things with all words. I think that it has a whole different meaning than the pictures. But then sometimes, like the Hades, I love the pictures, the polygons. This is beautiful, and I'd like to stitch this for my house. My husband, as I've told you, is retired from the military, so that would be real special. It says, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath set us free." Galatians 5. Here's the beautiful Lord's Prayer. Growing up in church, we said the Lord's Prayer every Sunday before we went down to Sunday school. And, as my kids used to say, that's it and that's all. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you all will have a blessed week. I may have more than one video this week because I want to show you any progress I've made and on the whips that I have, and also show you some of the fabrics and the floss that I've gotten in. I pray for each of you. I ask you to pray for me. My son Ryan is doing great. He goes back on Thursday for his post-op appointment, and then soon thereafter we'll probably begin physical therapy. So please continue to keep him and my entire family in your prayers. And I will talk to you very soon. Be blessed.